One of my favorite spots in the house is right over here. Check it out. It's where I keep my chainsaws. There's a lot of them in there. So you can probably guess that I fall trees. That's what I do. I run chainsaw, and I don't do it in town. I do it away from home. So northern BC and northern Alberta is where I usually work. What that means is that Serina is on her own with the kids quite a lot. Right now we're really rushing, trying to get everything done before I leave, because it sounds like there's going to be a bunch of work firing up, and I need to get back to work to make some money to support the household. We are kind of desperately trying to get everything canned and cleaned up, and just as many things as possible in order before I have to go, because I actually already got the call. What's it like, working away from home? Well, for me, it's probably easier than it is for Serina. It's a ton of fun for me to be out in the bush and running chainsaw. I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it so much. So I really treasure my time that I'm away, but I'm away from my family and I'm away from Serina. Like, that's tough on me and it's tough on her.
It's hard to even talk about Ian going away when I'm doing onions.
She's the one who really has to kind of bear the brunt of all of it, because she's the one who has to maintain the household when I'm gone.
When Ian goes away at first, it's kind of nice to get a little bit of a break. It's like, ooh, home alone for the weekend.
I go away to work and I come back at the end of the day and somebody's made my bed.
And there's a little bit less of a mess, like I don't have to make these huge meals because we're having these family meals, so things can kind of get simplified around the house.
I've got money in my pocket to go buy some food at a restaurant or something like that. I don't really live a super stressed life when I'm gone. I just get up, go to work, and come home and go to sleep. And so it's pretty easy for me. But for her, she's at home, she's got 2 kids, and she has to, take care of them all on her own.
When he's gone, I need to readjust my expectations of what can get done. There's only so many hours in a day, and when I don't have him to help me take on some of that load of like the child care, then there's just less than that can get done. Like, we always talk about how it takes an hour a day in the garden, but part of that is that we both are spending an hour a day in the garden. So if he's gone, then now there's 2 hours worth of work for me, and I don't necessarily have the ability to come outside and get like some serious work done during the 1 hour nap time when he'd be in there, putzing around in the house, while I can get out and get a lot done.
And there's a fair amount of work to do that can pile up if you don't keep after the garden for a couple days. So she has to find time to come outside and get all that done, and just it's a lot of work for her. So that's one of the challenges we deal with, but everybody knows the realities of money. So
him working but then me not working is kind of the best way to maximize our time together. So we do only get like 6 months of the year together, but we can spend all the time of that 6 months together, as opposed to, evenings and weekends and having both of us sleeping in the same bed, which, lots of couples after they've been married for long enough give up on that, just because, sometimes it's nice to sleep like this without someone being like, shut up.
Well, that's how I like to sleep, but you're the one who complains about it.
Yeah, and snoring. You don't have to worry about snoring.
But I'm getting stoked to get back to work, because I haven't really worked since February or so. But
it works perfect for Ian, because he loves his work.
Yeah. There's not too many jobs you get that are an actual adventure, and that's what it feels like to me when I go away. It's like just crazy stuff. It's hard to express it in words, the things that happen when
City boy goes to the woods and burns it to the ground. Like every child's fantasy, right?
Yeah. Typically, before we had kids, when I was just going all the time, I'd be away from the home for 6 months every year. So, about half my time was spent away from home, which is a lot, right? And we're not really looking to, work that much anymore, just because that's a little bit much to be away from my kids all that time. But, I should be away from the house for 4 or 5 months every year, still keeping up with this lifestyle. And, that's the reality. But,
like I said, it's hard, but it makes it so we can we live the life that we live because of Ian going away to work. So I'm resistant to complaining about it too much because we're happy.
Mm-hmm. What I got here is my big saw. This is a 390. So it is 88 cc's, and it's a beast. It's quite the cool saw, but it gets a little heavy if you got to hike with it. I'm gonna clean it up, and I gotta file it up because it is not too bad, but it's a bit dull there. I had this saw fairly clean recently, but I had to do my faller recertification test, and I was following all these dead fir trees, and they were just like powder just as soon as you cut into it. And so you can see this saw is just caked in this like red dust. That's only from falling like 10 trees or so. It was crazy. Super dirty stuff. It was like 35 degrees, and the sweat was just like pouring everything into my eyes, and eyes were just stinging. By the end, I was just kind of holding on to a thread because I had a certain mark threshold that I wanted to get to be able to become a tutor, which I just squeaked by. So that was pretty exciting. But right now, I got some more work coming up pretty soon, so I gotta clean my saw up so it's nice and ready to go first day, because when they're paying you the big bucks to run saw, they don't want to be paying you to, get out there and first thing you're doing is, doing some maintenance on your saw. You're expected to have that all done right away. So, check it out. How is it for you when I go? Do you miss me?
Yeah, well, obviously.
Hey.
That's what we do now?
You gotta do your vocal exercises.
Well, that's not gonna happen. Oh, I have a headache today. Okay, don't touch me.